Hello, welcome to Malaysia. Can I know what is your name?
My name is Nicholas
Nicholas, where are you from?
from United States.
United States. Is this your first come in Malaysia?
Yeah, I've been in Malaysia now, coming to Malaysia since January.
Can I ask you about 5 questions?
No problem.
Alright. Question. Can I know, in your opinion, what do you think about first impression?
Well, my first impression coming to Malaysia was actually flying into Kuala Lumpur,
Yeah.
and I just saw the beautiful landscape,
Yeah.
and I thought this country is really gorgeous. When I landed and I came to Labuan, I thought the people are very friendly, respectful, and courteous. So it was an excellent first impression.
This is your first impression about Labuan and Malaysia?
And Malaysia also, yes.
Okay. Second question, can I know, do you have any experience about first impression, especially about your friends or someone else? Like first in love or what, anything else?
So do you mean like my first feeling when I came?
Yes.
Well, my first feeling was very hot. It was so hot. No, but really like an emotional feeling was really I felt closer to nature. I think we're a beautiful country with a lot of nature, so you can feel this emotionally. But I never was in love in Malaysia. I have a wife, so
Okay.
not yet in love.
No, can I, for example, like your friends, can I know your first impression about them? First you meet.
Oh, when we first meet, well, I started working with both of them, and one of them I worked with for many years, 5 or 6 years together, and the other one I worked with for only a few months. But first impressions also very nice people, enjoyable to work with, professional, and courteous.
Third question, how important do you think it is to make a good first impression when you first meet them?
Oh, this is, I think, one of the most important things you can do in the world, professionally, as a person, and just for your own professional nature, you know. So making a first impression really comes down to how that person perceives you. You can do everything you can to make a good first impression, but if a person doesn't perceive you in a right way, then it's a problem. So you have to not only think about your own culture, your own relationship, your own respect, but also about how they're going to perceive you when they see you. So it goes both ways, how you treat people, how you give them respect, and also the respect that they expect.
Last but not least, this question, can I know, do you agree that people can fall in love at first impression? For example, like your wife?
At first sight, you can fall in love. Definitely. With my wife, I didn't fall in love, but it takes time, and after time, you realize you really love that person. But I really am a believer in love and emotion, and when two people meet, it takes a lot of time to know somebody, to really understand them. This is a much deeper love than first emotion.
That's all for today. Say thank you to you for spend time with me, and thank you. Hello.
Thank you for the opportunity. Bye.
Bye.
In your opinion, what do you think about first impression?
I use first impressions. I go by first impressions. I shouldn't, but I do. When someone makes eye contact or smiles, that's my first impression. So I believe in first impressions.
Okay, so do you think that first impression can be the reason to judge other people in person?
Yes, I think so.
Do you have any experience about first impression, especially about your friends or someone else?
Yes, this morning, in the breakfast room, there was a lady with her son, and she smiled at me, big smile, and I smiled at her, and I thought, what a nice lady. I'd like to be friends with her. She was a stranger, but she made eye contact and she smiled, and I thought, what a nice lady. And later, I looked for her at the swimming pool. I was looking for her because she was so friendly. She seemed so friendly and nice.
It looks good when they are so friendly to us, so that we are interested to talk with them, right?
Exactly right.
So, how important do you think it is to make a good impression when you first meet them?
It's extremely important. It's really important. If they make a good first impression, then I want to see them again. If they make a bad first impression, I don't want to see them again. So I think first impressions are 99% important.
Because it's important so that we have the interested to approach them, right?
Yes, and talk longer and talk more, yeah.
Okay, that's all for about my question. Thank you for answering.
You're welcome.
I'm from the UK, but I've been working in Bangkok for 18 months.
Okay. What's your profession, education?
So I to become a teacher, and then I became a teacher in the UK, and then I moved to an international school in Bangkok 18 months ago.
Okay. Maybe we should ask question.
Okay.
In your opinion, what do you think about the first impression?
My first impression of what?
Maybe you can take a Malaysia when you first came here.
Okay, so when I first came to Malaysia, I thought it was hot, because when I first came was 10 years ago from the UK. So I came from the UK, came over, it was very hot, and I landed in KL, so I was surprised. It was very busy, especially at night. Everything was still going on at night. So that's what I thought. I thought it was hot and quite busy, but interesting.
Maybe your first impression when you meet your new friends. What do you think about their appearance? First impression about your new friends.
Do you mean like when I meet people in Malaysia, of their appearance? Well, I guess I'm trying to see the differences between, let's say, Malaysian-looking people and, let's say, like Thai or Chinese, like, how they're different looking to the countries around them.
Besides that, can we judge people by their first impression? Maybe the people's bad, good. Can we judge them?
No, I don't think you can ever judge someone by how they look. No.
You had no experience to judge them?
Have I ever judged someone before? I think, yeah, we all do. Like, as human beings, naturally when you meet someone, or even when you see someone, we subconsciously, if you know what that means, so without thinking, subconsciously you make a judgment. So I think it's impossible for any human being not to make a judgment, but I think if you're, educated enough to realize that you shouldn't believe in your own thoughts, so you should find out yourself.
Okay. The last question.
Okay.
Have you ever made a bad first impression on someone else? What that?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have to ask them, but I think I have made a bad impression on some people. It's probably because sometimes I might have met them and I may have said things that probably made a bad impression to someone who I don't know. So yeah, I think that's what I've made a bad impression. So when I've just met someone, I might have said the odd thing that might have been, let's say, offensive or taken the wrong way.
Okay. My first question, in your opinion, what do you think about first impression?
Well, I think it's important. Yeah, because I am blind, right? I cannot see. So, for me, first impressions are not about seeing, but about hearing. So I listen to somebody's voice, and if I like the person's voice, then it's a good first impression. If I don't like the voice, or the tone of voice, or the words people use, then it's a bad first impression. So I think it's not not so good sometimes, but always, you know, when I hear someone for the first time, I always judge that person through his or her voice.
That's all?
That's all.
Okay, so my next question.
Yep.
Do you agree that we can judge a person by judging at their attitude? Example, a person behaves badly in public, then we immediately think he or she is a bad person.
Well, unfortunately, I mean, I think I think that's probably not true. Sometimes people behave badly because of the situation. But I mean, for example, we live in Japan, right? And in Japan, people are often very polite, but sometimes they stand in the middle of the pavement, looking at their smartphones. And they're just checking their mail or checking their messages, but they don't. Then they ignore people around them. They stand in the middle of the pavement, and it's a problem because it's you know, you can't easily walk around them. And I think it's not because, I mean, that behaviour is bad, but it's not. I think probably the people who do that are not always bad people. But the behaviour is bad. It's just they just don't know. It's just a situation.
So my third question, do you have any experience about first impression, especially about your friends or someone else?
Yes, I do. Yeah, my wife. Over there. Yeah, because when I first heard her voice, she was the speaker at a conference, and I was in the audience, and I first heard her voice, and I thought immediately that she was a nice person. And her voice was very, very nice, very gentle, sort of nice voice, very interesting, and her tone of voice was very good. And I instantly, straight away, I knew that she was nice, and she is.
Okay. So my last question.
Yep.
Have you ever made a bad first impression on someone else?
Probably, actually. I don't know, because people don't say.
Okay.
But I'm sure, probably, sometimes. I think if you always make a good impression, then it's, I don't know, it's not, I think it's not possible. Sometimes you make a bad impression, I think.
Okay.
Right, what do you think? Do you think first impressions are important?
Yes, I think it's very important
Really?
to me.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's all my question.